things get closed. Refresh. Refresh again. There we go. You should know I'm live. Streams. What are they pinging me about? Kick. Switch from F2 to F1. No, don't do that. Okay, let's see how many invites we missed. 2. Diblo, Chipalier. Chipalier. This one. Did I get more when that was going off? No, okay. Okay, just gonna have to rack the Discord on the phone for a second. Don't know who all we're missing. Let's see if I can run through the thing. Announcements. MAFA. 2 McLarens. Okay, we have 2 McLarens. A Red Bull. We have 2 Red Bulls. Waza. I think that's one person that's already in. Mo and a Ferrari. We don't have any Ferraris. Thomas reserved. We have a Thomas. I don't see a Thomas. His name could be different. A Williams. We do have a Williams. Anthony reserved Chipalier. We have Pablos. 2 Haas's. We only have the 1 Haas of Pablos. Isaac and Devin. We have some, but not all. Go ahead and put this on the review screen for right now. I think we might have everyone. Oh yeah, a level up ping. got one more. Another one. Some late bloomers. Where's the guy that I just added? Oh, this one. Don't know why Sven hasn't joined yet. I mean, no one's saying that they need an invite in the Discord, which tells me everyone's in here. I mean, no one is asking for an invite at all. I mean, we have two missing, but, okay, yeah. Ready up it is. Ready it up is. And only 3 people readied up on command, nice. Oh, someone else just joined, Thomas, okay. Joined just in time. Thomas still has to pick a team here. Okay, Anthony says that he's racing, so we might be waiting on one now. Fucking hell. Joining late, damn. Thomas still is yet to pick a team. Okay, Thomas has picked a team. There we go. Did we just lose a guy? I'm not sure. quite sure why people are readying up, but it's not enough to kick off the timer yet. Oh my days. Okay, I guess we're readying up. Just gonna have to watch out for that invite mid-session. And we have one person not ready to start it early. Nice, let's go. And I'm getting pinged as soon as I put away Discord. And here we are around Singapore. Waiting for drivers to pick their tires for the weekend. And they finally all picked their tires. And we do not see any rain on the forecast for the weekend. Just waiting for the first drivers to come out of pit lane now. Surprisingly, no one jumping out super early. It looks like we have a V-carb coming out now, I believe. Is that a V-carb? Oh, it is. Be Jupiler. Just wondering where the camera was looking there. That was weird. Rocking the special livery on that car as well. The nice graffiti style. A lot of people opt for the pink one. I like the graffiti a bit more. Awful pushy on his outlap. Not exactly sure why. Like to take things nice and slow on my outlaps. We see a lot of cars jumping out now on track. The Aston Martin, the McLaren, the Williams, now all coming out of pit lane. Ferrari as well. Only one Ferrari in tonight's race so far. And I'm getting pinged, of course. Just wanted to take an over-under on safety cars with me. I feel like Singapore, street track, aggressive drivers. There's not necessarily a low grid. There's a decent amount in the grid. I feel like we're going to see a couple of safety cars tonight. It's a very tough circuit to keep clean. Very tight and very narrow track, especially on the corners. There's not a lot of room for error going too wide. I think we're in for a couple of safety cars as we see invalidated lap time from Jupiler on his outlap. Comes across the final couple of turns to start the first hot lap of the session. Reminder that this will be put into a reverse order after this qualifying session to start the sprint race. See Jupiler coming through sector 1, very nice looking. I believe, if I remember correctly, Jupiler does have a good amount of pace in him. See what he can bring tonight. Towards the past race winner out on track now as well in the Red Bull. pushing the wall limits here around Singapore. Track limits are a lot more iffy around Singapore than most other tracks. You can still be on track and lose the invalidation, as the white lines are very weird looking, especially with how narrow the cars are. Coming into the next turn is one of those positions where you will see on the exit you can lose it. Right there, and he keeps it very nice and on the limit as we have an invite. We will get that in just a second once we see the end of Jubilier's first lap. Of course, purple sector 1 as it is the first lap of the session. So we see him come down the final short straightaway. Burned up a lot of battery kind of early on. You might want to save some for the final round of corners, and it's at 28-1 for Jubilier. Let's go ahead and get this guy in here. Where did he go? Might have to close it and then reopen it, I'm assuming. Yes, there we go. Jubilier 28-1. I'm assuming that's a ping confirming his friend invite, so I am not going to look at that right now. Ward's on his hot lap. A lot of wheel spin. He's out on the mediums right now. It's an interesting choice. Not quite sure why he made it. Oof, a lot of wall banging going on for him. Does not seem too comfortable on the medium tires. It feels like they might not be warming up quite as easily as people would be hoping. See some times coming across now. Nowhere near the time that Jubilier had set on his first lap. They may be on the mediums though. Let's take a look. Yes, we do have a couple of medium runners out there. A lot of lag coming for Wards, unfortunately. As he goes P3, second fastest on the mediums. As we see in the background, other Red Bull, I think, yes, just absolutely died. And has swung himself back around into the pits as Dark Fade. Not quite sure what's going on there with that, but it happened. Oof, a lot of wall banging going on already, and we are not even to the sprint session. Yeah, not quite sure what's going on with Wards, but he is having something weird going on with him. We see the Aston Martin of Hammond coming out of the pits now. Just going through, making sure I'm not missing any messages right now. We see some more times coming across. Take a look at which tires these are being set in to see who's going to pick up some more pace. Ferrari in the pits. McLaren out on track has set a time on the soft. Jubilier is still on provisional pole, which would not be pulled for the sprint race, of course. See Dylan out there, 2 laps done on the medium so far. See on the, yes, he's still on the mediums. He still has some battery, so he might be going for a 3rd lap done on the medium tires. Might be seeing a good amount of pace coming out of this Williams. He is a good ways ahead of Wards by 3/10 on the same tire compound, but a good ways off of Jubilier, who ran a soft run. Still quite a few people that have yet to set a lap time yet. See Dylan crossing the line for Sector 2. It is a purple Sector 2. He is up on his time by 2/10. Now, I'm pretty sure the purple sectors are glitched for spectating, but I know that the personal best is not. He is certainly up. I don't think it's going to be enough for a provisional pull on the mediums, but it'll certainly be a safe time if he can't get one down with the soft tire. So we see someone switching off of the softs from the mediums to the softs, and Dylan's into the pits. He was pushing on his mediums and just pitted. That's an interesting call from him. We see the McLaren has invalidated their lap. The other is on a hot lap. Doesn't feel like a hot lap, but he has ate up his battery. See what his sector times look like. So he crosses the line. Yeah, no, this is not a hot lap, but he is using battery for some reason. See Jupiler coming out for a second lap on the soft tires. Ward's in the pit still. Dylan coming out onto the softs. Probably going to see some good pace out of that Williams here in a moment. So picking through the field to find people. The Haas is looking to set their first lap time. Hammond, I believe, is on a hot lap. Looks like they had just started theirs. Struggling to get the power down coming out turns 1 and 2. As Anthony might have put it in the wall there or something. Not quite sure what happened, but he has retired from the session. Oh, I think he is trying to go from last to first, I believe. But retiring from the session will put him P1 for the sprint. So it might be a good tactical call from him there. Mr. Martin might not look to have the best setup going into this. It looks like they're really struggling to field the car. They've already put a lap on these softs as well. They might have invalidated one of their laps. But it's 4 lap bold softs for Botcha that he is currently running on. 3 for Cool Matt. So we have a friend request inbound. It was Key Nobody. Key Nobody. I think it was this guy. The Aston Martin already using up its stored battery before coming through the middle part of the last sector. Still has some that he can deploy, but he does not have any charge that he can use. It's not the greatest ERS management for him, honestly. So we see him come across the line dead last currently by almost a full second. He will definitely be looking for improvement there. Watch it on an invalidated lap on some old softs. Thomas getting on the way for some people in the Ferrari. As C. Haas was kind of impeded a little bit. Jupiler into the pits, missed his lap. I don't think he found improvement. Dylan on his hot lap now, which is invalidated. He is still pushing though. Not quite sure why he's pushing on an invalidated lap. I wonder if he invalidated at the end and it said this and next and he thought it was just the one. Do see a yellow flag through the sector 3 from a Haas, it appears, getting on the way of Ferrari. And again, the McLaren crossing a line seems to have thrown up some yellow flags as well. Yeah, this Williams likes to be on a full push lap that looks pretty nifty, but I don't think it's going to be one that counts, unless if it's glitched out for me, which typically an invalidated lap isn't. He might be doing something weird that he doesn't even know. See some big gaps in the timings through the field, so not quite sure what the race is going to look like as of yet. Yes, the Aston Martin ahead of Hammond, I believe. Not much time left in the session as Hammond does go into the pits. Dylan will come across the line, I believe, for like, oof, and he spun it at the end as well. Wow, right at the line too. There's just no way of saying that one hurt. There's really no possible way of saying that one hurt. Ward's the only man, I believe, on track that can currently beat out Jupiler's provisional pole position. Who also looks to be on an invalidated lap. Surely it's just glitched out for me because it said the same for Dylan, who was pushing. Now it's saying the same for Ward's. So I do believe that on a rare instance it has glitched out, saying that these drivers are on invalidated laps. Actually, it doesn't say it for other guys, though. This will be interesting. See if this is actually going to be the lap time that counts or not. As Pablos goes P2 in the Haas, 28.8 for him. Still 7/10 off a provisional pole. Ward's really struggling to get the power down in the Red Bull as Thomas goes ahead of Ward's by a full 10th. Ward's needing to find some improvement now. As we see a McLaren bending it into the wall ahead of Ward's, I believe. Right there is where the McLaren hit it. I think Wars just gave it a little tap too. I think the McLaren may have just given it a little tap and was a bit more on screen than it really was. As Wards spins it exactly the same as Jupiler, or as Dylan. You really cannot make that up, guys. Wow. Unfortunate to see from both of them having a moment in the same corner. Do have 13 on the grid now. As Matt is on an hot lap? Outlap? It says outlap, but surely he's on a hot lap. And he does a full front lock and spins it 180 for no reason and 360. I think these drivers are losing their minds. I can confirm that these drivers are currently losing their minds right now. We'll cut away from that smoke show. I believe the session has officially ended, but it's not ending. I think it might be because of Cool Matt as well. Not quite sure what is going on. There we go. Now it has officially ended. Took a second there. So there we have it. Jupiler provisional pole for the race. It will not be pole for the sprinter, however, as we will be running reverse grid. It will be Unite Emery and the other Williams that will be on pole for the Sprint Grand Prix. Let me go ahead and blast out to the drivers that we will need to retire at the grid. Okay, so hopefully the drivers get the message and we can get this going correctly. We will want all the drivers to retire promptly so that we can get this going. And it's going to be a lights on and away we go, but they will not actually go anywhere. They should all just sit there and retire if they are good little children. And they are not. Absolutely none of them are retiring. Oh, someone's bended it into the wall. Oh, and here come all the retirements. Here they are. There are all the retirements for you guys. I thought they might just, sit there and do it, regular style, but they gotta put some spunk onto it, I think. Yep. Yeah, they are. Okay, they are certainly putting on a show for the retirements. This is quite funny. I like this way of doing it more. As Darkfade moves into P2. The Haas struggling to get a retirement. And there it is. And there goes Quans and Wards. Okay. Let me pull up the thing so that I can reverse the grid order. People needing invites back, of course. Oh, I just need this session to end so that way we can. There we go. There's the end message screen. So, Bacha. Okay, is Bacha the only one that left? You the only one that fell for it? Can I actually? No, I can't invite him from here. Nice. It's where that says 0 points because everyone retired. At least they did it with some style. And then I also need to set the race time and sprint time today, and they will have to retire at this race as well. I think I should be able to invite Bancha while we're in this. Holy crap, this guy's a long ass ad. That race is 4 days a week? What the hell? Murphy. Two people still have yet to retire. And there's your qualifying. And they have to retire one more time so that we can get back to the lobby. So this will be an extra minute. Mo and the Ferrari needs an invite. And they're off to kill each other again. And there they go. What was Mo's name in the Ferrari? Who was in the Ferrari? Was it no, Mojo was in a V-Carb? I have no idea what his name was. Yeah, it was a Mojo. 2 cars left on track to die. And there they go. And there's your podium for an unofficial race. It's Mojo Peak. I thought we had Mojo Peak. We have Mojo. Wait, yeah, he's in the session. Yeah, we have 13 drivers in that session. I'm pretty sure everyone is here. Okay. Let's change this, that way the correct people can be at the correct teams. And we need to do weekend structure, qualifying off, grid editor. Let me pull up the thing. You will get an invite in a second. So it's Unai. You are up. Dark Fade P2. Anthony P3. Mojo, who isn't in the session. Hold on. Confirm changes. Invite. Mojo. Settings. Structure. Custom grid. So it'll be Hammond. And then Botcha. Matt. Quans. Wards. Thomas. We have Mojo Peak. Mojo goes above Hammond. And then Dylan. And then Pablo's. Okay. And then we need to set it to nights. All. We'll do midnight for them. Track. I think everything else should be good. We have qualifying off, sprint and race. Can't just do only sprint. Grid. Yes, this is correct. Okay, let's check to make sure they're all in their cars. They are. Okay. Yeah, everyone's here. Okay, let's get to some racing. And 3 people have readied up after I said ready up. Nice. At least they listened for the retirement thing. I'm actually quite surprised everyone listened for the retirement. Just a couple more people that need to ready up, but it will start anyways. Hopefully people don't forget to re-put on their setups for this. Can see that happening pretty easily. So we are under the lights in Singapore, finally ready to get racing. And they are ready to get going. See the Williams on the front row lined up with Dark Fade, and they are underway. This time they will not be killing each other. The McLaren did not get a good start there. Look, as under threat is the Williams from both sides. Ooh, with some contact going on. The car of the Red Bull is getting ghosted because of it. A lot of contact up front. That Red Bull somehow has yet to spin. They must have some performance upgrade that is balancing that car out. So he dives into the racing line there. A bit of lag going on with them. So we see it for the most part mostly clean, except for the McLaren and Thomas. Both were unable to get a good start. Thomas falling way back. Don't know if he went wide into turn 1 or something. We shouldn't see any stops tonight for this sprint race, as we see the Aston going very wide and a lot of contact out back with the Haas and Red Bull. So Red Bull is spun around, and it is Jupiler in the V-Carb, actually. It was not a Red Bull. The graphics on it made it look so. It's unfortunate for Jupiler, as he will start on pole for the actual race. See a lot of mix-up going on in the midfield now. Get some telemetry on map for you guys. Make sure everyone is using the same tires. Yes, everyone is on the medium tires as expected. Could have seen some soft, could have seen some hards, but I think the medium would be the correct call. Unite now pulling away 1.3 ahead of the V-Carb of Anthony. Dark Fade on the back of him, and a big DRS train on the back of Dark Fade. Some swap of the positions. Dylan getting by Boncha. Boncha botched his start. Jupiler on the back of him after having some contact with the Haas now. We see Matt and Wards going at it in the Red Bull and McLaren. Ooh, as Matt gets punted into the wall there, it looks like they just went a little bit too deep with each other, and he might have gotten pinched there. That McLaren now missing its front wing end plate at threat to the Haas behind. Haas looking to have a move done, and he just doesn't. Might I say that McLaren under these lights looks very, very nice. It looks like an early 2000s McLaren. Fortunately, is performing like one, as well as the Williams now on the back end of the Haas. Looks to maybe have a move there, but doesn't quite have it done. You see Wards on the back of the Aston Martin. He's going to make a move down the inside, going into the next corner. It's a tight turn, and he's got it down the Haas now on the back end of him. Him in P6 now, as he as well goes wide. Dylan gained by Quans. Dylan carving up through the field, making a climb from second to last to P9 so far. He has 8 laps to go to get some more done. Hammond loses out another position to Pablos. This Aston Martin just does not have the pace of the rest of the field, as we do hear the Ferrari of Mojo in the wall. I heard that happen, but I couldn't quite catch him. He has completely lost that front wing and is ghosted, and he has retired. That might be a safety car, ladies and gentlemen, in the sprint race. Yeah, he just didn't have any grip on that no front wing and punted it into the wall. Doesn't look like it will be a safety car. Cool Matt is certainly hoping it will be, as he is under threat from Dylan, as he is punted around. I'm not quite sure as to who might be at fault on that one. He is able to keep it going, though. Matt, the other Ferrari, currently last place. This is an unfortunate disaster for Ferrari and McLaren. Haas looking at some decent points. Hammond looking at threat to Dylan and Jupiler behind, as Hammond goes into the pits. No, he doesn't. Yes, he does. He was very indecisive with that one. Hammond is into the pits. He might have had some front wing damage, and that was why he was dropping back. Jupiler bringing himself very nicely back into this race against Dylan, both looking for good points here. Anthony now has caught the back of Unai and the Williams. They have a 3-second gap to the last podium finisher for the sprint race. As he gets to the inside, he looks to have this move done. They're going wheel to wheel. He pushes the Williams wide. They both have equal amounts of different rear lock and rear spin. These two are going at it right now. It might be a little bit dirty, but hey, if they don't report each other, I won't say nothing. As the Williams is shunted into the wall and loses his front wing end plate, that will surely be Anthony through for now. Unai can stay out on just a wing end plate damage, as weird Dark Fade, I believe, hitting the wall behind. Anthony will surely pull away, as he does experience some front lock. They might be struggling on these mediums a little bit. It is still a high degradation track, even if it is in the night, as Wards is looking to get by his teammate Dark Fade. The Red Bulls fighting out for the final position on the podium. Dark Fade, honestly, that was 2 moves down the straightaway, my friend. That would be a report in my book. And he moves the inside. Wards to the outside. Wards has won the last few races. He doesn't have as much pace and quality, but he has gotten through his teammate, as we see the Williams on the backside of the V-Carb has not gone into the pits. He will stay out on that damage. I don't think he fights for the front end, as Thomas is getting through the McLaren at the back. looks at the job done until he's punted into the wall. A lot of wheel-to-wheel action going on. Hammond DNFs himself. Might be frustrated with what went on there as Boncha's into the pits. Boncha putting on the soft tire. We see Matt and Thomas going at it wheel-to-wheel into turns 1, 2. We'll see who comes out on top. I think it is for now the McLaren as we cut back ahead to see what's going on. Pablo's on the back end of the Red Bull. Dark Fade tumbling down the positions now as there's another collision in the sprint race. Like I said, this is a very tight track and we were expecting something like this, but this is just absolutely outrageous so far. This isn't even the full race. My goodness. Dylan at some point had caught front wing end plate damage. I'm not sure if I caught that or not, but he does have that to confirm. As Matt looks to have gotten through the Ferrari now. We got some nice camera action angles from this racetrack. Thomas will be fighting that back. We will cut back ahead to Dylan, who is a man on a charge with wing damage. He has gotten through Dark Fade. It looks Dark Fade dropping back 3 positions in the last couple of laps now. Jupiler unable to keep up with Dylan as it stands on this race pace. Not quite sure what's going on with him, but he does not quite have it as yet in this sprint race. Dark Fade also with a time penalty somehow. I'm not quite sure I missed that. Unite with the damage picks himself up a time penalty as he was closing in on Anthony. That wing damage certainly not helping the track limits around here. We said that would be a difficult factor in tonight's sprint and full race as well. Dark Fade still on the back of Dylan, hanging on, pulling away from Jupiler to negate the threat from behind. Let's go ahead and look at the position change, and holy, do we have a lot. Mojo did not start, I believe. No, he put it in the wall. Yep, he retired after putting it in the wall. P13 down 9 positions. Hammond DNF'd as well. P7. We hear some contact ahead. It is Dark Fade on the back of Dylan. I do not think you have the pace to challenge that, sir. You are driving a bit reckless in my book trying to do that. I'm not quite a fan of lower paced drivers trying to fight heavily against higher paced drivers. That might be a certain dirty look that Rebel won't like seeing, as Jupiler is now on scene because of it. Matt gotten back through the Ferrari. Going back through the position change, Anthony P3 to P1 currently, Unite holding out to P1. Ward's up 6 positions, Pablo's up 8, Dylan up 6. Dark Fade down 4 as Jupiler, someone took additional wing damage there. I'm not quite sure who it was. I think it was Jupiler. He is missing his front left end plate now. It's not enough to ruin his race, but it's certainly enough to hold out against Dark Fade. Jupiler up 6 positions, hunting down Dark Fade for his 7th. Quan's still where he started. Matt down 2. Thomas where he started, chasing Matt for a position. And Boncha down 5. Boncha botched his start. As we see Ward's going through the Williams now for P2. The Williams on a time penalty. He should not fight this too hard. Knowing that he has that time penalty, he's going to want to play this smart and just hang on to the backbone. But he puts it wide, and this will be critical with that time penalty as he falls from 3 seconds to 1.7 to the car behind. He will want to catch back up and just hang in that DRS. I think the tactical play there would have been to let him through to get that position and tow. See some more squabbling out back as Dark Fade has DNF'd. We somehow missed his retirement there. Unfortunately, we didn't see that. Might have just shunted it into the wall. Looks like he might have been driving a bit angry. 4 laps to go for our sprint race here today, and Ward's is currently chasing down Anthony for P1 in the sprint race. Unite, I think, is out of contention for a podium here, as Thomas and Matt are just going at it in the Ferrari-McLaren rivalry. We see that McLaren going extra wide there. See if he picked up any damage. He is missing both of his end plates. Well, Lisa is equally shit and not just shit on one side. That's the way that I like to look at both wing plates being gone, as he is really struggling now in that McLaren. It's unfortunate for him, as the Ferrari does have full front wing still. The Red Bull looking to catch the sister car of the V car. I think he has this move done going into the next corner. He just has to outbrake him slightly, turn in a little bit early, and this move is in the books, and we have a new sprint race leader of Ward's. Ward's will be at threat until the next straightaway here, as Anthony does have DRS. Unite, I think, or Anthony, I think is, yes, just too far back to make a challenge down the inside there. I think he's going to stick behind his sister team and pull away here. Don't see much action behind, but too much of a gap. Dylan wanting to pick up the pace. Jupiler not able to pace out to Dylan. As we see, Matt made a pit, or is making a pit. I thought he was at the exit. He's at the entrance. Ward's losing out of position to the V-carb. V-carb going extra wide. He's going to be careful of track limits. Surely he's going to be pushing a couple as he puts him in the wall. That will certainly be a penalty coming that V-carb's way. He did not leave the space. I can confirm that if you want my humble opinion. It is not humble. It is on Anthony. He just left absolutely no space for that Red Bull and pinched him into the wall there, going a bit too deep. Unite now back on scene. Pablo's on scene now as well. We will see a mix-up for P2 and P3 possibly here if they keep at it as is. Ward's now driving on a damaged front-end Red Bull. Will not have the pace through second and third sector. Me and Ferrari's battle was mad. It was. It really was, Matt. We see Unite and good DRS. He does have front wing damage equal to that of Ward's, just on the opposite side. We'll see if he's able to pick up an on-track position, but with the time penalty, we'll push him back. So I do get a ping. I'm just going to check it real quick. Keeping one eye on my phone and one eye on the road ahead. And I am absolutely getting blown up right now. Love to see that. Love to see that. I don't even know where it's coming from either. That's the cool part. Oh, I found it. So we see both McLarens way far back. Unfortunate race for them. No positions have changed as of yet. The V-carb is still on the back of Ward's. He might be playing it a bit more passive after pinching him there. Might be feeling a bit bad about it. Pablo's just needing to stay within 3 seconds of Emery in order to pick up a podium. Not seeing much action at the back. There is a Ferrari chasing down a very struggling Haas, but he is a minute from that battle still with only a couple laps left to go. Yeah, I love how that keeps cutting onto that one camera angle every time I skip through them. He is within DRS now, though we are seeing a big DRS train forming up front that Dylan will shortly be joining the back of. Don't think if he will get it in time to be able to pick up an on-track position. He might be able to get one with the time penalty of Emery, though. So we hear some contact with the wall from Anthony. Anthony dropping back off of Ward's now. So we look, there won't be any moves going into turn 1 unless the Ferrari can close up enough going through these couple of DRS zones. Keep an eye on the timings for a move. I don't really think that was a dummy that was ever going to work. That was a bit too far back to try and send, and I think that Haas knew it. And you force yourself a bit wide with that one, Thomas. Yeah, and you're a bit too far off the back. He could try and lunge it, but it will... Oh, he's okay. Sending a lot of dummies the Haas's way, and the Haas just having none of it. Looking down the timings, we don't see any moves currently. That Haas really struggling though now. I think the Ferrari can pick up a position here, but I don't think it's going to be with a dummy. Unless the Haas does make a mistake somewhere along the line. I think he does have him here. I would have definitely taken the outside there. He had that opened up, but he goes down the inside, which was a bit more crammed, and I think he has the move done. The Haas lunging around the outside. I'm hesitating to say beautifully. He did do it, but I'm not sure how clean that was. We didn't have the best angle for it. But he is back through. Anthony, a second off of Ward's now, might see some positions change hands up front real quick while he is out of DRS of the car ahead. He did pick it up just barely. Pablo's without the ERS too far back to fight the Williams on track. Dylan really struggling on the damage as well as Jupiler. They do not have the pace that they'd be looking for in the sprint race. Going into the final lap now, I do think that everyone might be too far back to make a move unless some mistakes are made. I think the only person in contention for an additional position would be Thomas, but like I said, other people are going to need to force a mistake out of the driver ahead of them. Do see quite a few time penalties as well for just a sprint race, so hopefully these drivers take it into consideration going into the full race. So Unite is closing in on Anthony now. Anthony now on a time penalty. This would really change up the podium as it stands. This would be an on-track fight for the podium. take a look at the penalties real quick just to make sure they are all 3 seconds, and they are all equal 3 seconds. Thomas on the back of the Haas now, tucked in. Let's try it around the outside this time, and he tries to send a dummy down the inside, which the Haas covers off, squeezes the Ferrari a bit. Yeah, I think this Ferrari's trying to send too many dummies and switchbacks. You don't have to do it fancy, man. Just keep it classy, get it done. That doesn't have to be fancy. As he loses the rear on the exit, I think this Ferrari's driving a bit mad, trying to be too technical with it. Drive the car faster is the mission. You have a lot of ERS to deploy here, too. Backs out quite early there. Looks to have a switchback, and he might actually have it this time. Haas squeeze him a little bit. Not going to get the move done here. I believe the cars ahead are too far apart to make a change-up, but we do have a sprint race winner of awards sending across the line, as the V-car does as well. This will be interesting for the race with the time penalties where everyone finishes out at, and it looks like Dylan will be on the podium. We'll cut back to Thomas now as he has one last chance to get ahead of the Haas. Is Wards, Pablos, and Dylan your podium sprint race finishers. He will absolutely send it down here with a shit ton of ERS. Front brake lock, the swings into the side. I don't even want to call the Ferrari dirty because they both are kind of dirty on this one. So if you're equally dirty, just fight it out. No need to report any of that. But it will be the Haas ahead of the Ferrari in the end. Wards with the P1 for the sprint race. Very well done to him. Pablos P2, Dylan P3. And Anthony and Emery both missing out on positions to Dylan by just 1/10. Dylan absolutely sending it on the last lap to try and get ahead of the time penalties. Did so beautifully. Squeezes onto the podium. And McLaren come home for a last place finishers. I think Bacha might. No, I don't think Bacha picks up a point in the sprint race here. He will also have a 3-place grid penalty for the full race. So we are just getting ready to snag a picture of the sprint race results and tell the drivers to DNF this race. Snag a picture of these results real quick. And then tell the drivers to retire for a race. I think there will definitely be some penalties coming out of that sprint race, I believe. Oh, and he sent that just too late. Oops. A lot of people saying that this is their second race ever in this game for Singapore. That's crazy. And their first. Okay, well, okay. So a lot of inexperienced Singapore drivers. That's why we're seeing a lot of collisions. I do not see this race going very well. And we will watch the drivers kill each other on track real quick. And there they go. Holy, that's a good send. I will be billing them for all the damages. And they triggered a red flag. So we're going to have to wait for the red flag for them to retire the rest. Nice. Nicely done. That's unfortunate. This is going to take longer now. And we have 4 drivers needing to retire still. And into the wall they go. Oh, and the Williams decides not to. Neither does the Aston Martin. Please, sir, die. And did they trigger a safety car? What the hell are they doing? Come on. Guys, please retire. We see Haas retiring. Not quite sure. Oh, is Hammond's the one that left? Can I take over his car, maybe? Oh, nope, there it goes. And grab the time split for this real quick. So we just wait for this session to end. Being pinged by every which way, of course. I have a random ping from in here for some reason. Okay. I am in. Then we got to do a bit. So it's just standard quali off. Only botches on a pen. Okay. Let's go to the order. Haven't yet to join back, of course. Okay, so it's Jubileer P1. Followed by Pablos. I think I just gotta reverse it all. I think I just remembered it from the last time. Yep. Whoops. Then Dylan Thomas. Then Wards under Thomas, right? Yes. Okay, so it's just, it did remember the reverse. Okay. Then Matt. Bacha. Mojo. Anthony. Fade. Okay, and then we just need Hammond to join back. And then I can give the three-place grid pen to Bacha. Not quite sure if Hamda's coming back. He's still online. Let's see, where would Bacha be if Hammond were here? Oh, this is the right one. Bacha, where's Hammond? Okay, Hammond would be ahead of him. But I don't see Hammond joining. Okay, I'm assuming that Hammond isn't coming. Give him one more invite. Okay, and then I'm going to move Bacha down. That should be everything good to go. Okay. Good to go. See how long this race takes now. Took us an hour to get through the sprint. People are not ready up for some reason. And we finally have enough. Okay. Of course, a few not ready yet to make it faster. And here we go. Finally to the main event. Drivers will want to grab their setups, grab their tires once more. I will not be surprised if we see some more safety cars. I'm surprised we didn't actually see a safety car during the sprint. That was a bit surprising. So we're about to finally get underway. Here we are then. 5 lights on. And away we go. Jupiler taking us away from pole position from Pablos. Pablos gets an amazing start over Jupiler. See a lot of cars going too wide into the first couple of turns. We see everyone going too wide actually. Jupiler edging out ahead of the Haas. It would look for right now. We see some damage out back and a lot going on. A lot of drivers dropping back in the back in midfield currently. A bit hard to keep up what's going on. Both McLarens getting absolutely shunted right now. Lots of damage in the back. That might bring out a safety car. Yes, it is a virtual safety car. Jupiler leading on the virtual safety car with Dylan P2, Pablos P3. Pablos losing out of position somewhere in the start of the race there. As the Red Bull just gave the other Red Bull some damage there. That is certainly not on Wards, though. That would certainly be on Dark Fade for staying too close, and Wards had to back off to keep his delta up. And Dark Fade just went into the back of him. That is not what you want to see from the drivers. Mojo Peak dropping onto the back with a time penalty already as we see more damage on the safety car. We see a McLaren without any front wing. Haas giving a Williams a little bit of a shout. And a lot of drivers unable to maintain their delta right now. What is going on? And 2 people are dead. Okay. Well, I'm not quite sure what just happened there. Dark Fade is just, yeah, all over the place right now. How are we seeing more damage under a lap 1 virtual safety car than the entirety of the race? I think actually we might have been racing, so I do realize the virtual safety car is gone currently. 4-second gaps with cars out back, so they might be fighting for position. The McLaren of Matt will be going into the pits as he does not have any sort of front wing at all. He will have some good top speed, but absolutely no cornering as Williams is on the back of him. Matt into the pits, and his teammate is into the pits too. This is terrible for McLaren. This will be a very bad position for Matt to be in as we see all the cars behind coming into the pits and the Red Bull spinning it into pit lane. That is not good as Dark Fade does DNF after that. I think he could have kept going but chose to not. Matt will certainly drop very, very, very far back after double stacking a wing change. I certainly would have been telling Bancha, hey, can you please wait to pit 1 lap? I have much more damage than you. Not much coordination going on there as Wards and Pablos are going out. Wards, the sprint race winner, pushing the Haas a bit wide, maybe into the wall. The Haas pushing back on the exit. The Haas through currently. Thomas on the back of this fight as well. Dylan fighting it out front with Jupiler still in the DRS zone. Haas bumping, or Red Bull bumping the wall a little bit on the entry there. Quans with time penalty. Matt finally out of the pits. Mojo finally out of the pits. We are going to see a lot of big gaps forming now. Not quite sure why Dark Fade chose to DNF that. I think he could have kept going. I don't remember seeing a wheel coming off there. Ward's tight on the back of the Haas now. So he cuts to the inside. I was wondering which direction he was going to go with that. He does choose the inside. I think, oof, it is close. I thought he had that move done. The Haas pinching him a bit too much, honestly. Some contact between them. The Ferrari looking to maybe gain a position off of this fight. Ferrari is there with them in this battle. Dylan 4/10 off of Jupiler currently. The Ferrari not able to pull. He might be running too high of wings to be able to pull onto them. Yes, he does close it very close in the corners. My theory is that Ferrari is running too high of wings for this race. We see a 32-second gap between P7 and P8. That would be the window of people that pitted due to damage. We see Dylan making a tough lunge on the V-car, the race leader. He was not able to make it as Wards is getting through the Haas finally. And it goes a bit wide. Might pick up a warning off of that. The Ferrari looking to pick up a position on the Haas as well. So we see on the opposite side track the other Ferrari going through. Dylan just hanging out behind the V-car, pulling away at 4.5 seconds to P3 currently. Tight battle for the final podium position. These guys are going to want to keep it clean, as we've seen in the sprint race and the backfield. If you don't keep it clean, you're really just ruining yourselves. We will take this opportunity to take a look at some positions change. Just flashing real quick. We won't go down the whole thing as of yet. And the tires. I was wondering the tire strategy as Mojo leaves in the Ferrari. Fortunate from him. And we see the Haas chasing down the Red Bull. Still too far back, as is the Ferrari. Teams are kind of evening out the pace right now. As we see Dylan spinning around, he does hold it, but that will be critical as Wards will be looking at that excitedly. So will Jubileer. Jubileer just looking to keep it clean now for the rest of the race, and he should have this in the bag. Most people started on the medium tires. There was some pits, and some people went on to medium, some went on to hard, so there will be a lot of different strategies going on here. We might see some 2-stops, might see some 1-stops, but one thing is for sure, and almost everyone is on a different strategy right now. Unless a safety car comes out that could easily equalize out the playing field. See a lot of cars dropping out of DRS now. As Emery might have had a mistake there, and the V-car gets through the Williams. Emery now P7. As we have a full course safety car. I'm not quite sure what caused it, seeing as how I didn't see anyone drop out. We did say that this could bring people into play. I believe it's a good window for a 2-stop. As I just watched it, oh, okay, yeah, that's why it's coming from there. So people that have already stopped are making another stop. Okay, so it looks to be the Haas of Quans that might have brought out the safety car. Bacha on a time penalty as well. Williams certainly on the back of that V car, watching their Delta going around for the first little bit till they catch up to the safety car. So if you're in the car right now, you're thinking about switching to a 2-stop. I think that Haas, hold on, which Haas is that? Is that Pablo's? Yeah, Pablo's looks to have front wing damage. Get out of the way, Red Bull. Yes, he does. He's missing that front right end plate. Not sure how he picked that up, but he did. Like I was saying, though, you might be looking at a 2-stop window at the front field. I think we do see a Williams into the pits. Yes, we do. Dylan is going into the pits. He might be switching onto the 2-stop. I think it's too early to 1-stop it, but it's a good window to 2-stop it. You can easily do a hard-to-hard pit window. You could try and do a medium to hard. That's definitely possible. If you were looking at the 1-stop, you could 2-stop on fresh mediums to hards, but it won't be necessarily fun. So we will bring up the tires now. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of people pitting onto the hards. People sitting out Jubileer, Wards, Bacha, and Mojo. Mojo on AI mode currently, and Bacha just not having the greatest race currently. So I wonder then if Jubileer and Wards are looking at this thinking that they might be in trouble. So they're going to be on a lot older mediums. They could 1-stop it still. I don't think that the cars behind them are going to be able to 1-stop it. If they do 1-stop, it certainly will not play out until the end of the race, and they will have to bring pace the entire time to overcut them so heavily. I think the move there might have been for the whole field 2 pits. I can't lie. I also think that we might not see the whole field catch up to the safety car, as the McLaren of Matt and Haas of Quans are quite a ways off. Safety car almost lapping them on lap 5. Just waiting for everyone to gather up now behind the safety car after I believe Quans shunted it into the wall. Let's take a look at some positions changed after all the pit windows have closed for this safety car. So I actually want to check. Do the top 2 go in? Yes. It is Wards making the decision to go in and Jubileer to stay out. That would have been their last window to make this pit stop. I think Wards will still lose out on quite a few positions here, though. He will. He comes out behind Pablo's here, I believe. He's down in P6. He pitted P2 and is coming out P6. That was something that I was worried about if he did make that late moment change, but I think that will be worth it in the end. Jubileer will have to stick this out quite harshly. So we see now Jubileer stuck out the lead, Dylan up 1, Thomas up 1, Unai up 8, Pablo's down 3, Bacha up 5 with a 3-place grid penalty, Ward's down 2 after making that last stop, Anthony up 1, Mojo down 1, Matt down 3, Quan's down 5, Darkfade down 2 with his DNF. Take a look at the tires, see what these two just came out on, and they did take the hard tire compound, as we see Ferrari giving Williams a bit of a bump there. Not quite sure what that's about. Oops. There we go. Looks like the Ferrari didn't pick up any damage with that bump, thankfully, but certainly an odd one to see. So your current podium outlook would be Jubileer, Dylan, and World of Thomas. It's an interesting podium, but I do not think this is a podium that will stick. I think we are still in to see a lot of action. It may be safety car in this lap, but it's definitely a stretch for it to be in. I think they might have one more go around before it comes in. We did not get a safety car in this lap message, so they will have one more go around as Jubileer is into the pits. He picked up a time penalty somehow while under the safety car, and he... Oh boy. Oh no. Jubileer, what was that? I couldn't see it because of the camera angle, but it looks like he just shunted it into the wall. My goodness, Jubileer. What is happening this race? So your two DNFs, Dark Fade, and your previous race leader, Jubileer. Not quite sure what happened with that one. It's a possibility he might have done something weird with pit lane and lost the rear, which caused it to reset and then put him in the wall. Because it does say DSQ and not DNF, which is weird. But that will certainly have a big shakedown on the podium and race win outlook. We said that it was an iffy move for him to stay out, and I think sticking with it would have been the better call there. It was a now or never scenario, and I think sticking out would have been the right call. So you would have been able to still one-stop it, and you would have had your medium saved for a few laps. You probably would have lost some positions, but having to do a one-stop I think would have been fine. It was definitely a now or never type of call, and I don't think that Jubileer had a good enough follow through on that. So now Bacha, the only one on a penalty, we'll see what that is. It is a drive-through for Bacha. Might have been a race start thing or a speeding in the pit lane thing. Not quite sure which. Bacha, who botched the start of the sprint race, is doing pretty good, currently up P5. There should be a safety car in this lap now with the retirement of Jubileer. So we do see safety car is in this lap finally. Drivers will be warming their tires for this restart. Dylan will be your race restart leader with Thomas P2 and Dylan's teammate P3. As Dylan is underway quite early there, I might say he does have a good jump on the Ferrari, and behind it looks like people aren't able to keep up with that restart. It took a lot of people by surprise, except for behind McLaren, the Red Bull of Wards, who pitted last, is looking to make up his positions early on. It looks like he might be through the McLaren with a little bit of contact. They are still wheel to wheel. I thought that camera angle might give us a better look, but it did not. They are still wheel to wheel going into the end of Sector 1. And he is through. Wards is through the McLaren skirting out wide for some reason there. Bacha down another position already on the V-car. V-car should just have to outbrake him and have the move in the books. And it looks like he does currently for now. McLaren now 7th and 8th. Dylan having an amazing start already outside the DRS of Thomas. I did not think that Thomas would have the race pace to bring the fight to Dylan and hang on to the back of him. Emery now looking to catch up to his teammate to bring home a Williams 1-2 if he can get by Thomas. As out back, Bacha still struggling. Kwan's looking to get by him, but Bacha holds on. Bacha and his teammate did switch around position there. Bacha has to be sure to keep it clean with his teammate as his teammate lets him through. Not quite sure the call on that one, but that's certainly an interesting place to do it. I would not be making that switch around there, as we do see now Matt at threat to the Haas behind. Jump back up front with Emery on the back of the Ferrari, and we have my relays here says safety car. I just caught that it's glitched out saying that there is still a safety car when there is not. That's why I said we have a safety car when we don't. Kwan's on the back of the McLaren still. looking to get him possibly into turn 1 as Bacha is into the pits again. This might be to serve as time through as Bacha puts it into the wall trying to pit. That's not what he's wanting to see. Quan's off to the back now of the other McLaren. Quan's having, or Bacha, sorry, botching this race once again. Emery on the back of the Ferrari might have the move done here if he can optimize his exit. He has a lot of battery. He has the DRS. He has the slipstream. This should be a textbook move for him. A lot of drivers not opting for the outside line. They want the inside line, and that's what happens when you want the inside line. You go too deep, you go too wide, and you have no control over your position to the other car. He does get through. I'm not quite sure if that would be a legal considered move, though. So Ferrari did appear to have to bail out of that one. We will see how that shakes out at the end of the race. Now the Ferrari at threat behind towards and the Red Bull. Yeah, definitely an iffy move from the Williams there. We'll see how that ships down at the end of the session. Red Bull looking to have an easy overtake and fight for the podium and fight for the win. So he gets the DRS open, he uses up his ERS, going into the corner, wheel to wheel with the Ferrari. He saw before what happened, and just enough space left with that Ferrari. Not quite sure if the Ferrari did that on purpose or not. Ward's going down the inside this time around, too far back, and lets the Ferrari back through. This is critical towards his race if he wants to compete for the win, as Emery is 3 seconds off of the leader, his teammates. See, Bacha is still on the time penalty. He should have served the past one. Not quite sure why he is. It might be a 3-second. We'll check that out in a second. As the Haas locking his front left and almost hit the back of that Red Bull. The Red Bull really struggling behind this Ferrari now. He needs to get this move done, and he might get it done early on, going wheel to wheel. And he's just not enough, but he should have a decent enough switchback with the DRS and the slipstream and have this move in the books. He should have it done a bit neater than Emery did. Haas might be looking to gain a position as well on the Ferrari. As we cut behind, we do see them going to wheel, colliding. The V-Carb now looking to pick up position off it. So they're still wheel to wheel. V-Carb looking, and he just can't find a spot to squeeze in there. This tight track makes it hard to squeeze in a Lewis Hamilton move and get a couple of positions off of them. You see behind the Haas and Ferrari still just going at it as the Haas has DNF'd. He has lost his front left tire. The Ferrari spins around, and the V-Carb does find a way through both cars. Pablo's our third DNF of the night, a possible podium and race leader contender, now out of the race. And we have another full course safety car, which would be good had Jupiler not pit. Had Jupiler not pit, he would have been able to pit on this safety car and done his one stop. I think he could have done a one stop. 10:21 would have been a stretch, but he might have been able to pull it off. As Pablo's saying that he might quit after that move being done. So we see some pits happening now. Emery, Ward's pitting. Anthony pits. Ferrari of Thomas stays out. We will take a look at the tires that everyone fits on, and then the positions change after this pit window, and everyone gathers behind the safety car. Not quite sure what's going on with Bacha, but he is going awfully slow. It looks like he might be going slower than the Delta. It seems to be okay. So coming out on the fresh tires would be Emery and Ward's. Dylan chose not to, Thomas chose not to, and Mojo on 9-lap old hards. That is the oldest tires that we are seeing all race so far. So looking at the pits now, not quite sure why Bacha's on the softs. He might be on an AI that pit him onto the softs. It's always a possibility, as Bacha is into the pits currently. looking now, not quite sure why we have a change in position there. So it looks like the top three, Emery was ahead of Mojo there. Not quite sure why Mojo is now behind Emery, but he is. It is 3 cars that did not pit. Dylan P1, Thomas P2, Mojo P4. Take a look down the penalties, see what people have. It's 2 3-second time penalties, 1 for Emery and 1 for Quan. So looking at positions change, almost everyone is up positions. We have Dylan up 2, Thomas up 2, Emery up 9 positions, the biggest gainer of the race so far. Mojo's up 4, Wards is where he started. Anthony up 3, Matt where he started. Quan's down 2, Matcha up 2. As Anthony is into the pits now, looking to fit new hard tires. He was not one of the people that had... Is he fitting a new wing? I'm not quite sure why he pit for new tires there. He was not one of the people on the old tires. Just waiting to gather behind the safety car. Second one of the night so far. None for the sprint race, just 2 for the main race. We are still waiting for the Red Bull McLaren to catch, or V-Carbon McLaren to catch the back of this. I don't think they will before the safety car starts up again. I don't think it will be in this lap. As we see a Ferrari just spin it into the wall there. Thomas has put it into the wall under the safety car. It's a very tactical Romain Grosjean Baku move there from him. He might be into the pits now as he is just speeding through the Haas. I think he had to get back through the Haas legally. As he sends it into McLaren, and that will be it for tonight. Wow. And Thomas has just absolutely ruined this race now. Not quite sure what we will do now with that. I will wait to hear for the decision on that one. But that is not cool. So we see a Williams in front of the safety car for some reason. Yeah, and he was disqualified because of it. I think he was purposely disqualifying himself, expecting a race restart. I think Dylan, yeah, I think everyone's expecting a race restart on 35% possibly. So we will see if these guys get the message to DNF from this race to restart it. Just waiting for these guys to get the message to retire from the race. Yep, and it looks like they are getting the message to retire here. Looks like the last of them are being taken out. This is a classic Singapore race for you, ladies and gentlemen. Still have Mojo and Wards going as Wards picks up the message that it is DNF time. And Mojo into the wall. There we go. Okay, third time running out the session now. As we have a fake podium celebration, fake fastest lap, and fake everything else. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what motivated Thomas there, but we did see him spin. Not sure if it was because he had contact with someone else or if it was a skill issue, but that was certainly not a cool move. Okay. Okay, so we need to kick some people. Where is this Thomas guy? I think Thomas left, thankfully. Okay, let's invite some people back that I actually have no idea as to who's in here and who isn't. I think Pablos needs an invite. I think Jupe needs an invite. Pablos I think needs an invite. I think Dylan might need an invite. No, Dylan's in. Where's Pablos? Which one was Pablos? Was Pablos? Why don't I see him? Did he go offline maybe? Not seeing. No, he's in the lobby. Okay. Who are we missing? Let me change the settings while I wait for people to tell me that they're missing from the lobby. So we want this 35%, and then Jubileer still hasn't joined back. It looks like it's kept the grid from the start though, which is good. Jubileer still need an invite. I did invite him. Jubileer's in. Let me make sure he's on poll. That's invite, not settings. I did not put Jubileer on poll because he had left. Good catch. Mo left. Let me invite Mo. Of course, everyone that left, I'm going to have to remove around. This is going to take a minute. Mo is not appearing online. Do we have both McLarens? We do have both McLarens. We have one Williams that was two. Oh, I think that's Mo that's missing. Do we have Anthony in? Anthony is in. We have one Red Bull that used to be two. It was Wards and then Dark. I don't see Dark online anymore. Let me just check down here. Might have been a weird name. I think it might be a weird name, if I remember right. Madison, Hammond, Blair. Jubileer still has yet to pick his team. I think a lot of people might have went offline after that restart. Bajan, the two McLarens, two Haas, one Red Bull, one Williams, one B car. Who was the other V car? I don't remember. I don't know why Jupe isn't picking his car. Has someone left? Yeah, we lost a Haas there. Don't know why we lost a Haas. See if anyone is online to invite that I know isn't in. No, Hammond isn't in. I think Quans. Yeah, Quans was the Haas that left. Actually, no, we aren't missing a V curve. Oops, no, not there. Okay, here we go again. Here we go, selecting setups and tires for what, the fourth time? I had 13 people and I think we're down to 8. So we're about to get underway for the third time. Well, at least we get to see turn 1 action 3 times in a row. And it's 5 red lights for the third time. And away go the 8 cars. Let's see if Pablos has learned anything about a race start. Looks like a lot of guys opting for the soft tire to start on this time around. Looks like we're getting through a bit cleaner this time around. as the McLarens are fighting over position, currently one over the other. The V-carb of Anthony looking to pick up a position off of them. We've seen this once before. We are seeing it again currently. Looks like everyone might be getting through pretty okay as of yet. Anthony gets through one McLaren on a mission to get to the next now. If I am starting on the softs, I am honestly thinking of going from a soft tire to a hard tire. I'm not really thinking of a soft to medium. Could see how they hold up, but for the most part, I'd be wondering about the... Ooh, as Matt drops down to last place, Quan's getting by him. I would definitely be thinking about an early pit onto the hards as I'm getting pinged while we're on lap 1, guys. What are we doing? 3 pings in a row. There we go. So we see everyone getting away, McLaren getting a little swirly. So we look behind, Wards is on the back of the Haas of Pablos now. Wards opted for the mediums where Pablos has the softs. Jubileer pulling out a nice lead, 1.5 ahead of Dylan and the Williams. Would be very good with DRS opening this lap for Jubileer. Keeping it pretty safe so far, not too much action going on. Anthony and the DRS of Boncha ahead. Boncha keeping it clean this time, no time penalties so far. Ward's really on the back of the Haas, who I believe has a soft tire. We'll take a look now at the tires. Yes, only 3 people have opted for anything but the softs. Ward's, Anthony, and Matt. Ward's the only one with the pace, I would say, to compete for the front that is on the mediums. Pablos now in the DRS of Dylan ahead. Dylan without the DRS. This will be critical for Wars as he is wanting the Haas to not have any assist of an advantage over him. Take a look at the position change. Not much going on other than Matt dropping down the order and Dylan picking up a position for P2 so far. In the back of the Haas is the Red Bull still chasing him down. Not quite close enough. Like I said, the Haas has the DRS and is able to defend. As we see into the pits is a Haas of Quan's. Might not be liking those softs as Matt almost throws it into the wall with way too much curve. Quan's retiring from the session safely in the pit lane. Anthony on the back of Boncha now with the DRS open. Looks to go down the inside. He does send it. See if he can have him, and he does before the braking zone. Very nicely done from Anthony. That McLaren is struggling already behind that car's wake. And taking a look at the tires, Anthony stormed through on the hards. I think these softs after a few laps have already worn thin and will not be a good option as it looks Wards will be hounding down Pablos now. We might be seeing pit windows opening sooner than we anticipated if they are truly falling off as hard as we think. Taking a look at the car ahead, the front tire grain doesn't look that bad, but they can easily lose pace without too much grain. Ward's really pushing now, knowing that he might be struggling. He gets a better exit than the Haas. It's not quite enough to fight for the braking zone. Anthony behind, pacing out this DRS train. Not gaining, not losing. Dylan into the DRS of Jubileer now. Rebel storming the Haas into turn 1. It will be a fight to the end of the braking zone. They are wheel to wheel going through turns 1 and 2. The Haas edges out ahead going into turn 3. The Rebel's looking for a switchback. He gets a better exit, but the Haas defends nicely. The Red Bull looking for a nice little switchback, trying to optimize his exit here. It looks like he might have this move done into the next braking zone. The V-car behind. Ooh, as the Red Bull and Haas are pinched together, the Red Bull somehow has not DNF'd. As a matter of fact, I'd say he doesn't even have any damage. I'm not quite sure how that one worked out, but it did. Let's check out Pablo's. Pablo's does only have front end plate damage. If that were a real situation, we had the damage any higher, I would say that'd be a retirement for both cars there. Both very, very fortunate to not have that happen to them. Very, very interesting move there, I would say. Anthony now on the back of Ward's. Ward's without damage, but certainly damaging the tires, as we do see Pablo struggling on that front wing, and possibly his tires after spinning around. Warren sauce plus spinning equals a dangerous situation if you have a car behind. Ward certainly not happy being pinched in the wall. Will not leave any room for Pablo's next time around. Pablo still just pinching Wards, and he hits him. That was a physical turn into the Red Bull. That is not what you want to see out of these drivers, is physical aggression like that, especially on a restarted race. As Pablos goes into the pits, that might certainly be a penalty coming his way, as I think Pablos might have hit the wall or something. No, it's Anthony into the Bacha into the pits as well. Yeah, not what you want to see from these drivers driving like that. Ward's in the back, DRS of Jubileer. Ward's on the mediums, Anthony on the hards. This is a one-stop race. People have made their stops and they're going to the mediums. 5 laps on Sauce to 11 on the mediums. I don't think this is a good call. I think the medium or hards will be the better call here, especially doing 11 and 5 ratio, as we see Ward's getting through Jubileer on the Warren softs. I think if you're on the softs, you're seeing how much deg you're having, and you're going to want to pit for the hards. We were talking earlier that we might see an early pit for hards, and they did pit early, but they didn't pit early for hards, as the hard tire runner of Anthony is on the back of Jubileer. Ward's looking to pull away now with a strong overcut. Dylan and Pablos way off each other's pace with the additional wing change for Pablos. We see a little DRS train forming with a big mix of different tires. Bacha on the back of it on Warren softs. He is off the DRS. His teammate 7 seconds off, still has yet to stop. See Anthony now looking to have an easy move down the inside of those Warren softs. He kept it clean, but he goes too wide. He might have to give that position back, and he doesn't. As Jubileer is into the pits, we will see what kind of tires he does slap on the car there. So I am being hit with messages from absolutely everywhere right now. It's actually from a previous race that I had today. We'll look at that later. Is an asshole trying to say I dove bomb him when he absolutely killed me on track. See, Ward still has Anthony in his DRS now. We don't see any other action behind. It is all strategy calls for the rest of the field as it stands. A lot of different tires, a lot of different pit windows, so we will leave the tires up to see where everyone ends up after everyone pits. Jubileer made a stop, came out ahead of Pablos, but behind Dylan. Dylan on 1 lap older mediums got the undercut done and got 2 seconds on him. Anthony still chasing down any pace he can on Wards. The hard should go longer than the medium, so I believe Wards might be going, Anthony might go for an overcut from hard to soft, seeing how long he can stretch those hards for. No one else has yet to pit onto the hard tire. Bacha into the pits now, and we will see what tire he straps on after doing 5 laps on the softs. 6 laps on the soft tire. I think he made an early stop there at some point. Anthony just hanging on to the DRS of Wards still. Wards going, Anthony going aggressive on the inside of Wards. He got through, but he went too deep. As we see them going wheel to wheel now, Wards struggling to find the rear grip on the mediums. I did not expect Anthony to make such a late dive bomb like that. I'm not quite certain if that was clean. I wasn't paying full attention there. I was looking at the timings for some action going on. But Anthony on the hard tire is clear of Wards on the mediums now. Yeah, I don't think that a soft tire play would be the call here. I think those guys are going to be stretching those mediums a bit too long as we see Ward struggling on 6 laps with them. Yeah, he's getting a lot of front lock now, so we do have a caution out back with the Williams and McLaren. See what's going on with them. Dylan trying to make an easy move onto Matt. Matt on old tires, Dylan on new tires. Dylan with the pace gets through down the inside. Matt not kept fighting it any further, it would look. Not sure if he was heavily fighting that earlier, but he no longer is, it would look. So we see the Red Bull sending a dummy down the inside. Red Bull still hanging on to the DRS. He might be able to get a move onto Anthony. Those hards might have exited their golden window of pace. We see him closing with the slipstream. Matt is into the pits off the mediums, only lasting 7 laps on them. Surely he goes on to the hards. We see him graze through the wall. Matt going on the soft tire will definitely have to make a second stop this race. Not quite sure of the call on that one. Those softs will not make it to the end. Ward's unable to get through as of yet. Now the only 2 yet to pit is P1 and P2 on the mediums and the hards. I think this would be a medium to hard race, honestly, unless Anthony can get those hards to last until like lap 11 or so. But I do not think that the other medium runners will have very good tires at the end of this. You see no further movement in the back of the field. The only close battle that we have currently is right here in front of us, P1 and P2. P2 really struggling on these 7-lap old mediums. We will see if anyone is into the pits this lap. And it looks like neither of we see Ward's going into the pits. 8 laps is all that they had on the mediums. Now, everyone else is going to have to go 11 laps on the mediums, if not 12. I do not see those mediums making it to the end at all. And Ward's is strapping on the hards. He knows that the softs won't make it, and he does a medium to hard. I think Anthony will be in soon for the mediums. If he were to make that stop now, he would have some pretty comfortable mediums by the end of the race and prevent as much undercut as he can from the cars behind. So Ward's comes out P4 on the hard tire, which is much fresher than the mediums, which will burn up quicker on this shorter race distance. Cool Matt now 20 seconds off of Bacha. It still says he has 0 laps. I'm not quite sure if he made an extra stop there based off his time behind. Yeah, plus 26 seconds. I think he did make a second stop for softs, but even then, I don't think those softs will make it to the end. My goodness. Not quite sure why Cool Matt didn't set on a set of mediums there, but that's what he did. Pablo's 1.8 off the back of Ward's. Anthony still yet to make his stop. He is coming through the beginning of Sector 3 now. Pablo's dropping off the back of Ward's. These fresh hards certainly looking to have more pace than the older mediums. There's a 5.4 gap now to Jubileer. We will see where that ends up come the end of the stint for the mediums. Anthony will want to, he doesn't. I was going to say Anthony will want to make his stop now, but he doesn't. This is really, really critical. Anthony will come out behind possibly Pablo's, leading this long, and he won't have enough time to make up these positions. Ward's falling off a 10th to the car ahead. I think Anthony is putting himself in a dangerous position, not pitting yet. Jubileer on a time penalty and 6 seconds behind Dylan. Dylan 13 seconds now off of Anthony. Yeah, I think Anthony's setting himself up for failure on this one, honestly. I think he might have been on the best strategy call, but he's waiting too long. Unless if he does go on those softs. Does watch me cook me? Only pitted once. Oh yeah, 1 stop. That's weird that it says that for the laps on the tires. I mean, you're 20 seconds off your teammate, man. I'm not quite sure. I think Anthony does go on to the softs, though, and that's why he's stretching the hards along, but I don't think it'll be good enough. He won't have enough laps to make up that time and pace over the other drivers. I think the best he could do is maybe stay within Jubilier's time penalty. And even then, that will be a stretch. So we will watch to see if Anthony is in this lap. And he doesn't. He stays out yet again, Anthony. I really don't think this is a good call from him. He needs to come in. If he wants any chance to fight for an on-track position, he's going to lose out on the strategy battle here. And definitely, I think, be off the podium. Too big of a gap from any cars, I think, to make up any positions. Ward's in the best place. This made up a second since the last time checking in on him. But even then, with 5 laps remaining, excuse me, I don't think it will be enough. You have a second within a few laps time. The mediums will fade quite quickly, but I don't think it'll be quick enough. They will be in the fade window as most people pitted on 6 to 8 laps on the mediums, and Dylan has just started 6th lap, and Pablo starting his 6th lap, falling way off the back of Ward's. Jubilier 5 lap old mediums. Ward's just needs to get within 3 seconds, 10 seconds. Jubilier has a 10-second time penalty, which would put him behind Pablo's. Pablo's looking at that closely. So we'll check for Anthony coming in possibly this lap. So he comes through the beginning of the 3rd sector. He is 11 seconds ahead of P2. Ward's now quickly closing the gap to Jubilier. This will put him on the podium no matter what, with Jubilier's time penalty for the pit lane infringement. And Anthony is in, surely to the soft tire as well. So we'll watch to see where he comes out now. This is a strategy call that I think would put him behind Ward's, maybe behind Pablo's. Pablo's losing out a lot of pace now on these mediums. As we see Dylan go past pit lane, Anthony is not through. We see the Red Bull of Ward struggling behind. We'll see if he can get through as Jubilier gets through his teammate. And Ward's as well will get through. And I think he will be clear of Pablo's, but it will be close to the line, I think. And it's just enough, I think, to stay out DRS. And he straps on the mediums. He went so long and only strapped on the mediums as we have a full course safety car. My goodness, what has happened? It's a Red Bull. Ward's has killed it. We have 4 laps. This is absolutely terrible for Anthony and absolutely perfect for Dylan. Dylan has a free stop. I don't think he has a set of softs. And there will be 1 lap of racing, I think, to the end. 1 or 2 laps of racing to the end. Bacha picks up a time penalty under the safety car. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there to Ward's. He has no front wing, but that is absolutely abominable for Anthony, who just made a stop and could have had a free stop onto the soft tire. Also interesting, he didn't pick the soft tire in the first place. With 4 laps to go, I certainly would have wanted them. Cool Matt in the pits for some fresh softs under the free safety car. We'll bring him back into play. See how many laps he has to get something done, though. Jubilier struggling on his Delta, it looks like. I think we will see Dylan and Jubilier into the pits. Jubilier has a 10-second time penalty, though, which will put him pretty far back. So we see Dylan coming into the pits like we expected, followed by Jubilier, followed by Wards, who needs a front wing. And this might put Anthony a bit further ahead than expected. We will look to see where people come out after the pits here. So it will look to be Anthony has regained the lead with the safety car. Thankfully for him, he will be relieved to see that. Looking down the order, Bacha currently P3 with the time penalty. Wards P4 after replacing his wing. Jubileer P5. Pablo's P6. Cool Matt P7. Certainly an interesting mix-up. Hopefully we have safety car in this lap, but who knows. And it is not safety car in this lap, so they will only have 2 laps of racing to the end. Bacha probably will lose out on quite a few positions here, probably dropping to the back on the old mediums with the time penalty. Hopefully it won't cause too much of a collision for the drivers behind looking to get through. Not quite sure why Bacha didn't decide to make a stop there. Dylan in a good position to attack Anthony. Anthony on the mediums, currently sitting P1 in a very good spot for him. Would have been a lot safer of a P1 though. Hopefully we will get the safety car in this lap message. Don't see why we would not. We do see safety car will be in this lap finally, and Anthony will be controlling the race restart pace. Ward's creeping up on the side of Dylan for some reason there. Field is definitely getting bunched up a bit too much. Not quite sure why they are. Get a look from behind. Ward's is actually through Dylan right now. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Dylan ahead of Ward's there. And they are on the way. It was actually Bacha that was P2, but for some reason he is not anymore. Anthony with a good restart for him. We'll see if he can hold this out for just a couple more laps. It's a very, very good spot over the rest of the field. Bacha dropping that to P7 already. We'll be close to the end. All these guys on fresh tires with only the race leader on mediums. The rest are on attacking softs. These guys have the pace, but does Anthony have the confidence to hold out to the end? That will be the key here. Ward's in position to take away the race win from Anthony. Jubileer currently P4 off the podium. If he can make up a position and have a double podium for VCarb, that would be very nice for the team. But he has to get through Dylan's first. Ward's chasing down the sister team VCarb. Matt and his teammate currently breaking off from the field. 3-second gap formed already. They are closing in tighter and tighter lap by lap. They did not have DRS this lap. It will be on for one final lap around Singapore to claim a winner. And we will see who crosses the line first. Ward's looking to have it in turn 1 or through the next straightaway first time with DRS. He does not make a move into turn 1. I do think we will see a move going into the first DRS zone. As we see Bacha into the pits, he regrets not pitting with those old mediums. As Jubileer is on a time penalty. Jubileer has picked up a 3-second time penalty somehow. Ward's dropped back from Anthony half a second somehow, even though he had the DRS. Anthony in a very good spot to now win this race. Ward's struggling to find the grip on these cold softs. Anthony should be in a pretty golden zone on his medium tires. Feel very comfortable, feel very grippy, and just hold the lead. There's one more DRS straight. I think it's just the one more DRS straight away. Yes. So they come around the bridge into the hairpin. Actually, no, it is too. Yes, it's just not showing up on the map. Ah, it is. It's in the green zone. Ward's closing. And he's too far back. This will be his last big moment to make something happen unless Anthony is to make a mistake. Anthony has to drive this perfectly. Anthony with a lot less ERS, but he doesn't really need it. He takes the inside. Ward's a bit too far back. Anthony pushes them both wide, but they both hang it around, and Ward's is currently still behind him as he shoves them forward and ahead and wide, and through is Ward's for the win. My goodness, that was a photo finish to the end right there. I'm not quite sure who might pick up a penalty where for that one, but my goodness, that was a spectacle to watch at the end. And certainly, since this is finally over, 2 hours and 20 minutes after the live stream started for a single sprint and full half race. So that leaves Ward's your race winner. I believe that's 3 or 4 in a row for him. Anthony, P2 in the B car, where his teammate had too many penalties, couldn't find the grip, and his P5. Dylan, P3, rounding out the podium. Pablo's P4, followed up by both McLarens, dead last of the finishers as Bacha goes into the pits one last time. Kwan's only DNF of this race session. My goodness, that was something. That was something to be described as a thing that occurred. A lot of upset people from that race, surely. Take a look at the race winners and such. Driver of the day and most overtakes for you with fastest lap. And you have your timing screen with the fastest lap and penalties served. Ward's P1, very, very good, strong finish. 29 thousandths of a second ahead of Anthony after pushing him wide, though Anthony did push them wide into the corner, so it's up for debate. I think you could honestly call both those a racing incident and just be happy with how the race ended, and that it is ended. So yeah, very good for them. Dylan rounding out the podium for Williams, his teammate not in this session. Pablo's P4 falling out from P2 to P4 with a weird strategy call from him. Jubileer P5 after starting pole position. Cool Matt followed by his teammate P6, P7, only DNF Quans. Thank you all for enjoying this 2.5-hour long live stream, and I hope you guys were at the least entertained. Thank you guys, and we'll catch you.